What is up, world? This is Tara Woodruff with Tara Woodruff After Hours, and I want to do a follow up video to yesterday. And I think it's important I think that my experience is important to help you recognize your own experiences that you have. Um, I think it's so important. It's ridiculous. So here we go. So the name of this video is The Thing About Bridges. Now, I was talking about the different things that um, I am in the current. I don't. How do I say this? I am currently experiencing the development of my success, of different things in my success, and one of the bridges was yesterday's episodes, where I realized that my dog was going to have to stay at my daughter's house. Okay, so I was like very lonely last night. I still slept though, but my cat was mad at me and didn't get in bed with me. And usually I sleep with both of them. But whatever. And this morning I was just kind of whatever. And I went to work. I had to pick up a mattress for the new place and have the other one taken away. So I needed to be there. And I was so gloomy, dude. I was beside myself gloomy. I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh my goodness. So I just did what I did there, and I'm having one of my girls come in tomorrow and do a refresh so that people can come and enjoy this apartment or condo. Um, and plus, the mattress needed, it said up to 48 hours. So I'm going to give it 24, and then she's going to make it and do a vacuum and a dusting and whatnot. So that's ready to rock and roll. I had nothing in me to do it myself, and I could have had it in me. You know what I'm saying? I could have. But I was still feeling the feels of sadness, even though I really don't have anything to be sad about. You know, like, what was I going to feel glad that my dog was going to struggle getting up and down the stairs and possibly hurt herself because she is already hurt? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like all these conflicting emotions, and it was wearing me out. It wore me out. I was tired. I just wanted to get home and draw. And at the same time, I didn't want to get home because I didn't want to come up the stairs and not hear her run to greet me. You know what I mean? So I got myself worked up pretty good. I wanted to stop at the butcher's to order my chuck roast, and I didn't want to go in because I knew I would probably cry if I did. Because I get along with this woman, and I'll tell her whatever the fuck is going on. I'll tell her. And I was sad, and there was no way around it. And what I did understand, and I've probably understood this before, I'm sure I have, but put it into practice is something different. And especially now that I'm not a drinker, I kind of need to practice it because there's a whole reason why, people drink. There is. There's psychological things that go on that make you want to drink. And I can't tell you how badly yesterday and today I wanted to just get fucking drunk, dude, and forget it all. Ah, lucky for me, my desire to stay sober is way stronger than my weakness. And this is good because I've always been a powerful manifester. Um, so like that phrase, blessed and highly favored, that's me. As hard as my life has been, as many circumstances that have been unfavorable, all the stupid shit I've done, all the stupid shit that was done to me, all of it, regardless, powerful manifester, that's me. And what I realize now that I'm looking at it with opener eyes, um, is that I really struggled with actually feeling emotions. Not that I didn't have them. Luckily, I'm not a narcissist. um, is that they would be so deep that sometimes just so very painful, so hard to do. I've said this before. I don't know about it on this channel, but I've said it before. Like not the last time I lived in Maine, but the time before that, there was not a night I did not cry myself to sleep. I was so unhappy. And I have recently talked about how discontent is the root of all evil, and that's what's going to get you to sin when you're not happy in general. I'm not talking about being overly ecstatic or being in a constant state of gratitude. I'm talking about where you don't have contentment. Okay? You will do things to your body and to your life to excite yourself or to numb yourself, right? So I am fully aware that today I am solemn, I am sad, I'm feeling selfish, I'm feeling, I'm missing fancy like you wouldn't fucking believe. And so I knew that I had to go and feel that. So it took me a minute. I get back down the mountain and I go to the general store and I'm like, I know I want a Diet Coke. Unfortunately, I'm still drinking those, but one thing at a time, right? I've stopped drinking afternoon coffee, which is really good. Um, so I want to get a Diet Coke, but they have a $5 limit. And I'm like, I don't know what I can get. I don't really need anything, which is so nice. Being ketovore, there's not much to get because if you've got meat, you're good. I got meat, I got butter, I got a Diet Coke, I've got LaCroix. Key lime is pretty yummy. I like it. But I knew that I had to come home and just feel the feels. And the weather is very signature in my life. It's windy and moody. And so I'm like, all right, I want to drive down a dirt road, but I don't want to just drive down a dirt road. I don't want to go sit at the river where I bring fancy. I I know I have to feel these feels, but I don't want to dwell and swim in the feels. I just want to feel them. So I said, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll go down that new dirt road. I didn't even hit dirt. There's a part of it that's paved. I didn't even get all the way to the dirt, which is good because I didn't want to do that. It's a way when you dirt road it often, like I do, it's added miles, added gas. Like there are faster routes. I don't like the faster route, and that's kind of symbolic. But I'm 54 and living in an apartment that does not suit me and my family's needs, even though it's awesome. Isn't that cute? I just connected that just now. So speed is not always your friend, just so you know. So I knew I had to feel the feels, and I pulled up to a portage, which I just love that name. I think that's adorable. And there's a little set of dams right there. I'm not sure why there's dams there. There's no water treatment or anything. I don't know why. Excuse me. And I just kind of sat there for a minute, and the trees are all like blowing like crazy sauce, and I'm like, I wonder what's up with that. I think I just got another booking, which is awesome. So I get out because I want to look at the portage, and they do have like granite steps down to be able to bring your boat down. And we're talking kayaking canoe portage. We're talking small. And took a couple of pictures, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, I could sit here and really brew this weather up. If you knew me, that's that's a thing. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna brew this weather up. I am going to be grateful that I got out here and that my hair got thrown around like I was in Montauk and I'm going to go home. I'm not going to go to the meat market because I don't want to get sad. I don't want to dwell in the sadness. I just want to feel it. And then I want to get home and I want to work on that and accept it. And so I did. And I had got updates from Sarah about Fancy. She stayed home today with her and her son. Her son is taking it very seriously that he's to help Fancy heal. And Fancy just had the time of her life today. Just really happy that she doesn't have to go through a terrifying moment just to go outside and go to the bathroom. If she slips down the 4 steps that go up to the house, she's not going to injure herself that bad. And so they even played a little bit of Fetch It, Catch It, and that made me happy. She showed me video because I don't want her to lose those muscles because that's one of her favorite things to do, you know? And so that's going to help her heal as well. She's taking a lot of time to just sleep, and I'm just so happy that she's not freaked out. She waited until 6 o'clock in the morning to tell anybody that she thought it was time for everyone to wake up, which is really good. I didn't know if she was gonna feel my feels the way I did and like be really upset, and she hasn't, and that's so wonderful. But here I was feeling really sad, and I'm like, okay. And I put on this T-shirt. You really can't see it. Let me see if I can lift it up. It's the polar caves from New Hampshire. And the reason why that's significant with this is I went through some caves that um, I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I didn't think I was going to make it out of them. Really intense to be under. Granted, I'm definitely not a what do you call it? A cave kind of person. That feeling of that earth above you like that and that rock, oh no. And I thought of this when I put this on. I was like, feel the squeeze. So here we are on a bridge. This is part of the process. And it's super uncomfortable. And I want you to know that some of your bridges and some of the connections that are bringing you to where you're supposed to be are going to be hard. Some are going to be way harder than what I'm experiencing right now. Way harder. And the thing about being a sober-minded manifester and that's blessed and highly favored by God is that you actually have to feel those feelings. Yep. You actually have to let yourself be sad, mad, pissed off. There's all sorts of reasons why it's important. It's not about being reactive. It's about recognizing that you feel that way and letting yourself feel it. Doesn't mean you got to go buy a 12-pack of booze and get fucked up. It doesn't mean you got to go and go find someone to sleep with. It doesn't mean that you got to go get some ice cream. It doesn't mean that you got to go do any of those destructive things that you may have done before because you had a feeling and you didn't want it. Now you have a feeling, and even if you don't want it, you've got to embrace the miracle in it. It's what makes you human. And unless you're trying to be one of those NPCs out there, you need to start feeling your feelings. And it's important for your manifestation to happen in a timely fashion, not something that you look at that is 1,000 miles away, something that's more likely around the corner. You got to feel your feelings. And that's what today has taught me. Now, how do you feel those feelings without without, especially now with social media, getting lost in a doom scroll, or, there's so many different ways that we become disconnected from our true source, our true nature, our essence, and connect to all these different things that are keeping you disconnected from your life and from your goals and from your manifestations and from feeling the feelings that you need to feel in order to have the other feelings that you know are coming, right? And I've talked before about um, reminiscing or ruminating on your goals as if they've already happened. Really important. And and you know how they say there's always a yin and a yang, and how they say you can't have the good without the bad. Those are so true. It's stupid. You can't. So like today when I ruminate about how amazing it is that day that I finally got that place, that Fancy was able to just go out the front or back door, lay on the porch, go under the porch, run around the yard, play a little fetch it catch it, and not have to be all stressed out about it, where the cat can even go outside because people aren't driving 100 miles an hour down the road. Um, that day, when that finally happened, was so fucking amazing. Remember when I cried when Fancy went and stayed over at Sarah's? Oh my gosh, that is so sweet that I was human and didn't just look at it in the cut and dry way that it really is. That I allowed my emotions to be a part of the experience instead of being the hindrance of your experience. Does that make sense? I hope I'm getting to you. So I've been, let me look at the date. I might even, hold on a second, because I have other ones. I'm just going to scoot. I got to flip my mattress. I'm making that one spot so soft. I got to flip it. Oh gosh. I want to give you exact days that I've been doing this. And I am going to be doing this on my Tara's Traveling Paints YouTube channel. Um, because it's really wild. And it's really good when it comes to, I'm not seeing any dates. That's crazy. Okay, so that's a couple here. I'm not going to show you those. They're no good. It doesn't really matter though. See if I got a date there. 7/19. So what are we on the 21st? It hasn't been long. This just came up. It's actually been coming up in my algorithm on YouTube for a minute. And I'm always like, I want to look at that, but I don't want to look at that. I don't feel like it. Whatever. I just didn't. And apparently on the 18th or so, I did. And I started watching, and everybody's different. All the people that have video channels, they have channels about that. They're all certified and educated and have certificates and are counselors in this. And so when I do it on my YouTube channel, I'm going to have to give a disclaimer. I am not a teacher. I just practice. That's it. And it's called Neurographic Art. I am going to put in the description the guy's channel that actually came up with this form of, we're going to call it a couple things: manifesting. We're also going to call it, what else are we going to call it? Like self-help. It's called Neurographica. And what it marries is neuroplasticity with reduction of stress. And usually when you watch his channel, when it comes to a particular subject. Okay? So one thing I struggle with, or I used to struggle with, is when I get feeling blue, my mind will race, and I know you can relate to me on this. And instead of staying in the flow, I've got to like self correct harshly. Like I've got to be like, no, 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 no. And instead of allowing the feeling and then just curving it back around so that I could be in a contentment state. Because I am pretty damn sure that if you want to have faster goals being set and quicker manifestations appearing in your life, that contentment is a state of mind. It's not pure gratitude all the time. Nope. And it certainly isn't anger or sadness. As a matter of fact, there's uses for them though, and people like to ignore them, and that's why we're here. So instead of sitting here knowing that I felt the sadness, right? I could have literally sat here all night and cried. And sometimes that is clearing. But I don't need that, because basically what that's doing is manifesting something else entirely that I do not want. That's not at all. Like if I'm going to have that kind of sadness, I want to save it for when it's supposed to be there. This is not um, that kind of sadness that I was feeling today does not associate with real life. It's just me feeling that sadness. Now, all the years that I spent blocking my emotions on purpose, that was one thing that I really loved about cocaine. Um, you just did, you're able to cut off those feelings pretty good, but you don't actually lose them. They just go somewhere else in your body, and they wait. And so here I am, you know, the what the fuck, right? I am I am not entertaining those kind of things anymore. Um, I'll have a gummy, a little bit of a gummy here and there, but uh, I don't I don't see personally anything wrong with that at this point in my life. I might decide to turn around and say that's fucked up, but I never ever get into a state of intoxication. Let's put it that way. It just doesn't happen. So I knew that I had the feelings, but I needed to move through them in a healthy manner, not in a way that I ruminated and dwelled and sat in my puddle of self pity, because that's what it was, but was able to say, okay, I feel this way. I miss my fucking dog. Like, holy shit. And I've got to be able to feel that way and it not ruin everything. Because you see, the the goal is set, the manifestation's already in process to happen, right? And all those bridges happen really quickly, right? It was like four of them all at one time. One of those bridges hurts, is painful for me. I'm sure Fancy misses me. She's gonna be fucking stoked when she sees me tomorrow. She's probably gonna want me to put her in the Jeep, but I'm gonna give her some more time because she needs to heal that leg. And in order for all that motion that I'm taking towards that goal, towards that new place that I've been talking about with Fancy since we got this place. And this place was a manifestation. Um, I will slow that roll to that new place if I sit in this valley. If I stay in the squeezed in place. So I knew that it was okay that I felt the way I felt, whether it was self pity or not. That might not even be all of it. Who knows? But it was okay for me to be in a bad way. It was okay for me to miss her. It was even better, and this is something that I've worked on a lot over the past few years, that I didn't immerse myself in another activity. So, like when I escaped to New Hampshire. And I came into this line of work. It was extremely therapeutic to me. Extremely therapeutic. And what I found though, and this is something like when my mom passed away, everything had to be work. I couldn't sit with it. And I got to sit with it. I still haven't sat with it. Losing my mom was like, fuck, I don't even, well, but I've got to sit with it. You know, I've cried a couple of times, a lot. Shit, probably a little every day. But I go right to work. So I knew that me leaving work, knowing I could delegate that last task to make the condo beautiful, was worth it for me. Not to just immerse my sadness in what I what I do for a living, instead of associating what I do for a living all the time with therapy. It's good that it's therapeutic and it still works that way. But today I actually had to feel the feels. And it's almost like I just don't feel the feels when I'm cleaning. I'll make sure I put on some sort of podcast or something that distracts me from the feelings, and I just couldn't find a spot. And I didn't feel comfortable there. I knew I wanted to come home. I really, really did. And so I worked on neurographica. I did one this morning before I went to work, and I did one as soon as I got home. And I'm going to show you some pictures. And this, you don't have to be an artist or know how to draw or anything. You don't even need to know how to make a circle or anything like that. And I'm not going to get into a lot of details about what this is. I want you to go to his channel and learn about it, because I am not a teacher of it. So I'm not going to teach you about it. What I will be doing on my other channel, my Tara's Traveling Paints, is I will do a hover over and draw one out and probably put it on speed and refer you back to whoever inspired that particular one, because there's a lot of different teachers on YouTube that there's one of them I actually went with and did one, which was wild. So you want to see you want to see them all. I know you do. Okay, this was the first one I tried, and obviously I quit. I quit. I might go back and play with that. And then I tried this one. And that's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. Let's see if I've got another one in here. I probably do. And yesterday I went and bought another um, sketch pad, because this one sucks because it falls apart. Here's one, and it's terrible, but that's okay. And now I don't have anything more in here. That's that. So I can pull the papers out and use them as I want, but this isn't awesome as a sketchbook. So I got this. Dollar General, you can still do stuff like that. And this was the first one I put in here. Leaving a page in between. And this is another one. I don't know if I like this, but it doesn't really matter to like it or not. I drew it this way, but I feel like it should be this way as far as looking at it. That's a combination of crayons, gel gel markers, Sharpies, and ink pen. This one I love. I don't know why. It probably needs more work. Those are Sharpies, dude. Aren't they cool? Those are cool Sharpies. And I threw out the packaging before I could even find out what they're named. But they're pretty. And they go on like paint. Like the more you color it, you know how markers usually have those little lines like crayons or pencils? These don't. You can keep doing that. They're so light and they come out darker. It's nuts. I don't know what they are. But they're Sharpies. And I did that, I don't know, the 19th maybe? I think this is the one I did this morning. Nope. So this is another one. That's crayons. This is one I did with an artist. She was doing one and I followed along her instructions. It's pretty fucking cool. I don't know what like the impression I get of that is the world. Like I feel like those are all little countries. How cute is that? That what the heck date is it? That was yesterday, so I did this one late last night. I outlined my coaster because I wanted a smaller piece. I made that one. This paper is it's dollar store, so I'm not putting painter's tape on it to grid it. This one I did before I went to work today. And then when I came home, I was so sad. I did this differently than the other ones. And it worked. It allowed me to feel the feelings and allowed me to come onto the other side of them and feel happy for Fancy and for us and for me and for my daughter and for the lessons my grandson's going to be learning about that. Like I said, dogs are like super important. And he's going to learn about the love of a dog with Fancy because he's in charge of making sure she's okay. It's a big step. So this is the one I did when I got home. And I did all sorts of shit in there. That's part Sharpie, part glitter, gel paint, and pencils. And then something I learned back when I was in jail is that you can, for real, you could take your pencils and dip them in water and it turns into like a watercolor. So I could even keep going over this and make it more smooth. Um, they do have actual watercolor pencils out there. I haven't used them yet, so I don't know how they act. There's a lot more control with the regular pencils, I think. I'm thinking the other ones you add water, it's gonna watercolor could be. That's challenging, guys. If you want to get into color theory, that's where you learn it. It's brutal. Um, but this, I liked it better when it wasn't colored in. I liked it better when I just colored in the bubbles on that, like the not the inside, but the outlines. That was beautiful. And I only took one picture of it sideways. Should have taken one up top, but that's my latest one. It's called neurographic art, and it's meditative, and that's something that I'm excited about because I have a really tough time turning it off. Um, this keeps you off the phone, which is really important. It keeps you connecting your brain to your hand, so your brain to your body. You are able to exert emotions into it and cool them down or amp them up. It helps you get to the contentment state. I think Nora Graphica is the contentment state, to get there, to allow yourself to feel the feelings, whether it's joy or sadness or frustration or anger. all of those things, get it out, round it off, and bring yourself into contentment. And it was developed by a Russian. He's currently a Russian professor. He's been a bunch of things though. They say he says he has a PhD in philosophy. Um, so he's everything from an artist, architect to a psychologist, philosopher, professor. He's done a few things. He's Russian. And he wanted to combine all these different neuroscientific discoveries that we've had over the last 20 years into something that could be kind of worked out. Now, you probably have done drawings like this before. Now it has a name. And I was watching one of his videos today because I wanted to learn from him because there's so many people out there that are certified in it and have channels. And they're great. I love them. But I'm like, I need to hear from this guy. And it's serious. I can't tell you that I can teach you this because you actually have to have proven that you've gone through the education. So he has copyrighted that. But he's not able to stop us from practicing it and showing other people what we've done. So I want you to learn a couple of things that I'm not going to teach you about. I want you to learn about the neurographic line. Write it down. If you want to play with me with these things, you're going to have to write it down. Neurographic line. You're also going to have to learn about the catharsis line. Where on earth? There it is. Then the Piskaren line. Piskaren. That's his last name. Rounding. You need to learn about rounding. And you need to learn about kind of the process, a little bit of the process. It's themed. So when you sit down to do, you don't just blindly sit down to it. When you sit down to do a neurographical piece of art, you come into it with an idea. So this is when I came into it with an idea that I was sad and I didn't want to stay there. Not for long, but I didn't want to run away. I wanted to smooth out myself. Right? So I started with the circles and I went over it again and again. And I used a Bic pen, just a regular old-fashioned crystal Bic, like these guys, and let the lines get open so that there would be open spaces in the circle, right? Then I went back with a Sharpie fine tip, or what we used to use in school was the Lee pen, L-E pen, to round my corners. And you're going to learn about that when you go look it up, okay? I did the circles first. I've never done that first yet. There's all sorts of different ways. Then I went in and put my lines in. You can barely see them. And then I was still getting worked up. I was getting worked up. The cat's going to bite me. Can't get over this cat biting me. What are you doing? He's like, I love you though so much. You're so delicious. He's so dumb. And then I needed to have the catharsis line. And I was scared of it because I didn't want to ruin it. I really liked what I was doing so far. And I was afraid. And it was okay because I'm not selling this. This is just for me to work out my emotion and come around the other side of it in a healthy manner, right? In a state of contentment instead of a state of deep sadness. Because that state does not help me produce anything. It doesn't help me be any happier or more content. But it's necessary for the process. So I need to get through that. So I was still feeling really anxious. Like my stomach wasn't even feeling right. Like I was not nice today. So I did the catharsis line after I had all the circles drawn and all the edges rounded. The cat, he's like, "You are my catharsis line. That's why I eat you." It wouldn't be so nerve wracking if I haven't seen him eat a mouse. He chews a mouse dead, like all the bones are broken. And I remember my mom, because this is her cat. My mom actually, I thought she was just being very silly or regressing, and she was actually afraid that maybe one day the cat would eat her. Well, now I know why. Because if she had just passed away in that apartment and nobody was coming over, he may have. So that's fucked up. I know, but it's true. She wasn't kidding. So I went into my catharsis line and it brought it out. And then I went and rounded those edges. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And then I just kept going with colors. And I did all my circles on the inside with the glitter gel ink. I loved it like that. I shouldn't have continued. I went in with pencils. If I could do some more shading on it, I would be even happier with it. I might continue working on it, but I feel like I'm done with this piece though, because I've worked it out. So if you're interested in attempting a process that's therapeutic to you, that doesn't cause you to sit on your screen so long, that doesn't cause you getting intoxicated, that doesn't cause you leaving reality, actually it ties you to it. At the same time, it ties you to God. I look at this very religiously, not religiously, spiritually, um, because if it doesn't feel like it's coming from God, I'm not going to do it. And I'm pretty sure that's why he kept putting that in my algorithm. He wanted me to check it out. I don't know. I haven't researched enough about all the things that you might want to, but in its purest form right now, without me being able to teach you anything because I am not certified, this helps move you through an emotion. And it also helps you amplify an emotion if that's what you're looking for. So if you're feeling really jazzy and you want to stay feeling really jazzy and you don't necessarily want to turn off the world, but you don't want to allow anything else to influence your good mood in a negative way, you could do this. And you're creating, you're contacting your creator because you're creating. It's nuts. So that's how I see it. I don't know how other people see it, but I think it's so much fun and it's so beautiful. I think I might make a bunch of like greeting cards with this shit on it. I want to try to figure out how to do a acrylic pour painting with it. I think that acrylic pour painting is very similar. As a matter of fact, it's just done with a different medium and done in a different way. But I look over at some things and I'm like, oh, that's kind of like Neurographica. So I'm excited. So that's what I have to say. I really expected to be done in 20 minutes, and here we are. But, you know, thanks for hanging out with me. I had a really good steak. Oh, and I called the butcher lady to order my steak because I didn't want to go in because I was sad. And she was like, "Oh, I already have it." She was like, "I figured if you didn't want it, I would just sell it to somebody else." I got you. I got you. You don't even have to order them anymore. Okay. I love that. So I'm out of here. Just had dinner. So I'm ready to have my LaCroix and some nicotine and maybe do another drawing. So if you want to go over to my other channel, I've got some shorts up. Go check it out. Um, And check out the Fluid Art. Fluid Art is amazing. So anyway, I love you a long time. I'm gonna go now. It's 45 minutes. That's a long, long time. Bye.
You ready? She's doing so good at slowing down a little bit before going down to grab it. I threw it a little too close at one point, and she could have like whoop, swooped. But then after she slipped and fell on the ground, she just started rolling around. So, you ready? Good job.